CJ?
Well, obviously it's new, so it's just all about just really learning the terminology. Um, Obviously, we watched some TCU film, kind of just get a background, a foundation of what was being ran, and obviously in the passing game. But I think our guys have done a great job of really retaining all the information and really just going out there and just trying to execute. I'll say we definitely farther ahead, and probably what we were day one. But that's just a credit to the guys just really honing in and really taking ownership of really just trying to get this offense down. I mean, it's, to me, you're always learning each and every day until you can try to master it. And I think our guys are on the right track with that.
Yeah, I'll say you feel like a freshman a little bit. As a staff, you're sitting there and everything's new and you're learning new signals. And I think we're excited that Garrett's had great success with his scheme, with his offense, and he's implemented it. He's installed the offense, and Coach Sweeney's given him a ton of freedom to do that. And we all have our thoughts and we're able to share ideas, and we've actually used some similar terminology if it's a almost exact play that we've run, which I think has been helpful because the guys can hear the word and understand what that means, immediately, without having to learn a completely new terminology, which has been helpful, here and there, which is great. But man, there are new concepts for sure, and new reads, and as y'all know, you've probably already heard a lot of freedom for the quarterbacks and even for the receivers and backs, and I think the guys are excited. I think we're all excited to learn something new and let our playmakers make plays, and our guys are having fun and playing free. So it's been a fun transition, but it's taken a lot of work by the staff and by the guys, and everyone's bought in, and it's gone well so far.
What sort of your take on the receivers staying where they are, not switching sides? And is that something you ever considered doing? Even before Garrett got here.
We did some of that. I mean, our base offense was we switched sides. You had a boundary and a field receiver. When we went tempo, they stayed same side. When we went 2-minute, right, tempo, they stayed same side. You have your one-word calls, of course, when I say tempo, like one-word fastball plays, right? And then you have your 2-minute. That's kind of what I was referring to, where they stayed same side already. So we weren't foreign to that. But I think it just helps you play faster. It makes you simplify a little bit more maybe. But it also makes everyone have to learn the entire concept. And we always taught that way. But now you're going to be on the front side or back side of a concept all the time. So you're forced to have to really learn the entire scheme, and teach it, know it that well, where you can teach it because you're going to run it. And so the guys, I think, man, it's just they're excited about that because they can be a part of the whole concept, front side and back side, and make plays, But I think it helps you play faster. Is probably the main thing, I would say.
So have you moved any guys to different positions as a result of that? Like different outside spots?
Yeah, no, not right now. I think you're kind of, we have some guys out, I would say. We have some guys that aren't practicing full right now. And so you're kind of, you're forced to put guys at certain spots. And honestly, a guy that played on the right, maybe at your Z, he's also having to play the X to the left a good bit as well. So we have a few guys that are already having to be swing guys because of lack of numbers, which is going to help everybody. It's going to help them to really have to learn it. But we'll definitely, we have in our mind kind of an idea of who might be the better X, who might be the better Z. But those guys will have to go out and just perform and see who does that best.
Coach Spiller, last spring, Shipley and Pace were both out. So, Moffitt was a great opportunity for him being the guy, but how much of a benefit just having Shipley back in the spring together with Moffitt?
Well, anytime you can get, great players back, it always is a great benefit to have. And to have pretty much that whole room healthy, it brings great competition. It's pretty much just like we talk about each and every year is you start over. you know, and that's kind of the mindset that, you know, I had as a player, and that's kind of the thing that I try to create with my guys is that no matter if you've been here 4 years, each year is a new year, and you have to start over on a brand new sheet of paper. You write down new goals and how you can get better as a player. And both of those guys, Shipley and Maffa, have done that. But, you know, anytime you can get great players back, it definitely is a great benefit for your offense.
I guess, Tyler, how much of a hindrance has it been just not having, I think it's 7 scholarship guys that aren't here right now here in the fall? I mean, how much has that held you back at all? What do you say it's holding?
I would say it hasn't held us back at all as far as what we're installing. You know, we're installing the entire offense, and what's great is, you know, like Beaux is not practicing you know, full when it comes to tackle and getting collisions and stuff like that, but he's out there and he's doing everything else that's team separate, which is great. So he's getting reps already and looks fantastic. It's hard to watch him and not, you know, put him on the scrimmage field, unfortunately. But and Adam, I just saw him catching passes after practice, and so he's coming along, which is great. And then you have your guys that will be here this summer who I know they're hating not being here right now. I mean, they really are. Everybody wants to be here and compete and learn the offense and be with the guys, you know. But they'll be here soon enough, you know, and they'll help us. But as far as installing, it hasn't hindered us whatsoever.
Is Troy back yet or doing anything?
He is. He's, you know, still recovering. You know, not quite as far along as we had hoped. But you know, it's one of those things that there's no need to get him re-injured. You know, let's get him fully healthy. And so he's learning. And you know, he actually ran this a very similar offense in high school. And it's funny because some of the terminology was a little similar, you know, at times. And so it was encouraging for him, you know, because you're sitting there and everybody's like, all right, you know, I've got Noble who's here and he's a freshman. Well, guess what? Beaux Collins is sitting right next to him like, all right, what are we doing? You know, like we're all learning it together. But I think it was encouraging for Troy and even Adam. Adam did a similar offense at Myrtle Beach. So, you know, I think whenever he'll get back, he shouldn't skip a beat.
Obviously, you don't want the guys out, but is it beneficial for guys like Cole Turner? Mm-hmm. And then in regards to Cole, we saw him flash at the end of last year. Mm-hmm. Where do you see him, and how good can he be? Because I hear things and people say, yeah, we think he has a chance to be pretty good.
He can be special.
Yeah, that's right. He can be. Appreciate that. CJ, I mean, you know, if you've heard of Coach Sweeney, I guess he's probably already referred, you know, to Cole. I mean, he loves some Cole Turner, and you know, but for good reason. I mean, he's a heck of a player, and he's gotten those first team reps. He'd probably be rotating in with, you know, Beaux and Adam and those guys, but you know, he's getting first team reps, every one of them almost. And he's done really well. I mean, he looks like a stronger player. Still room to grow. That's an area that I've really challenged him in, you know. But he's playing stronger. He's playing faster, more confident, and having fun. And he made, might have already heard, but in the last scrimmage, you know, a great play over Nate, who's a best corner, fantastic corner. But you know, a nice over the shoulder touchdown play. You know, and got a foot in and. You know, and he had a play today that he didn't finish a little 5-step glance route. Kind of had a corner draped on his back, but came back almost maybe 2 racks later and had the same route and same scenario, defender draped on his back, and made the play for a first down. You know, and so he's pushing through, makes a mistake, doesn't let it get him down. You know, learns from it, moves on, and I think what I really appreciate about him is that it's not too big for him. Like he doesn't even really understand like the seriousness, the importance of that play. Of, you know, hey, you're at Clemson, like, you know, no, he just goes out and plays ball, and I love that. That's kind of like Renfro. I mean, Renfro was very similar. I mean, you know, hey, this is a national championship. He came up to me before the game. He's like, hey, coach, I'm nervous. I'm like, oh, he should be. This is a national championship, but it wasn't. That was foreign to him, you know, but. It's just that I can appreciate guys like that, man, that can, you know, just smooth, collected, and that's who he is. So.
But body-wise, not similar to Hunter. Who does he kind of remind you of?
You need to ask Taj Boyd. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to ask. What?
Taj says nuke.
You've already heard that, huh? I wasn't going to say that here. No, it's, you know, yeah. He's got. It's hard to say.
He reminds you of Ed McCaffrey, Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
Faster.
I like that.
That's who he is. Just if he put his head down, he can be very special. But I can see Ed McCaffrey when you think about it. Just very similar body types.
That's a good point.
CJ, do Will and Phil have can they be the best 1-2 punch backfield in college football?
I mean, that's up for y'all guys
Set
to
you up, Mary.
to decide. You know, I mean, them guys are self-motivated. I mean, they self-driven. You know, they don't get. Obviously, you know, in today's world, they see all the stuff that's out there, but you know, we don't sit there and, you know, discuss. Hey, let's be, you know, the best. You know, obviously, you want to be the best, but you know, that's up for the media to decide that. The only thing we can do is, for those guys to do, is just go out and perform and take it one game at a time, honestly, and don't get distracted by the external stuff that's written or that's said out there. And I think if they do that, then they'll have a really good chance to have a great season as a 1-2 punch. But then you have other guys in that room, because we all know, especially, you know, playing that position, you know, you just never know what happens. So, I mean, you have guys like, you know, Domonique Thomas that has to be ready. You got guys like Keith Adams, who's having a phenomenal spring right now. And then you got, you know, two guys that's not even here with Jarvis Green and Jamaris Haynes. So, you know, it's a very competitive room, you know, and those guys take great pride into that. And they know whoever runs out there, you know, you represent the whole room. But obviously with those guys being the older guys, you know, they get all the stories written about them. And with that comes a huge responsibility. And those guys do a tremendous job of handling that. And, you know, I always tell guys, man, is that, you know, everybody want to be the driver until you're in the driver's seat, right? So that's kind of how they go about their business. But, you know, the story's unwritten on this year because we haven't started the season. You know, we're just trying to swallow this offense as much as we can, and then once the fall get here, we'll see what happens. But I know those guys they'll be self-motivated to go out and showcase their skills.
Coach Grisham, Antonio was so polished as a freshman last year. How do you make him even better?
He's already improved. I think we've challenged him a good bit to kind of, you know, just mature in every sense of the word. And he's responded well. You know, I mean, you've heard it before. You know, they don't have sophomore All-Americans, right? And he knows that. You know, and very similar, like I talked about Cole. Man, he's steady Eddie, man. He doesn't ride the emotional roller coaster, and you know, man, he's just one of those kind of rock solid guys. When it comes to showing up and being who he is every day, you can kind of count on him being who he is. You know, he's pushing through. He's practicing his tail off. He has dominated the scrimmages already, making plays, playing strong, playing tough, putting his shoulder pads down and finishing plays, you know, north and south, and he's already improved. You know, I think he's very self-motivated, but like I just mentioned, man, we were challenging him to take another step because he can, you know, and to not be satisfied because he's a phenomenal player, but you know, he can be one of the best out there and be elite. So, gonna have to continue to be a leader for us and you know, speak up a little bit more. You know, he's a quiet guy, but you know, try to really, you know, be that alpha and know when to speak up, right, and lead. And he's doing a better job of that as well.
I think Antonio said that, you know, I underachieved, we all underachieved in the receiver room. I mean, is that something you agree with? And I guess how do you fix it?
Yeah, I think, you know, there's an excitement to get out there and play and make plays and be who we are, you know, be Clemson and be what you've been accustomed to seeing, you know. And I think every position kind of wears that, right, where they, you know, it's kind of one of those things. Maybe you feel like there's something to prove, right? Which, hey, if that kind of creates that edge for you, like, use that, you know. If a guy, you know, for me, it's if you're just so committed and just love the game and just, hey, go out there and make plays and don't think about trying to prove anybody wrong, because that can hinder somebody, right? Like what works for you? And part of my job is to figure out what gets them going, man. What gets them fired up to go make plays and have fun and dominate, And that's the thing we focused on. Just every play, dominate the man across from you. Like go win. Run game, passing game, And so having that mentality, having the mentality to win every rep, and it's been fun. I think there's a hunger and there's a good fight to our guys right now.
Will Taylor's playing baseball right now, but at the end of last season, where do you think he was in his development, learning the position?
Yeah, really first year, right, to be a wideout, and man, he's there with a former teammate in Antonio, right, and kind of learning from Antonio, and you got Drew Sweeney, man, who really kind of came on and was a really good, savvy player and leader and could teach, right? I mean, he was like a GA for me, and got a few GAs in the room right now, man, could be good coaches someday, but he really learned and developed. And, you saw him play faster, right? Like he's trying to learn not only the receiver position and the plays and the nuances of the plays, but the technique and fundamentals of how to get to that point, right? So it's a lot on him. I saw a ton of improvement and excitement out of him. And man, so quick as a cat, man. Great hands, got some dog to him. Toughness, and so all the things you want. So I mean, I think we all want it for him, in football and baseball. That bat's coming alive, which is cool. So we want it for him.
For both of y'all, how much do y'all think this offense and sort of the mentality meshes with Cade and his mentality?
I will say I want to say he ran something similar in high school. I mean, he's just one of those just natural leaders, so he can take very great command of the offense. And I think with this offense, it gives the quarterback that opportunity, that ability to really take command of it and really lead charge and be able to do things that you can see on the field. Because as coaches, you can draw it up and it look good on the board with X's and O's, but at the end of the day, the players have to go out there and play. And I think with this offense, he'll be able to go out there and communicate what he sees on the field and be able to come over to the sideline and communicate that with Coach Riley. So I think it's going to fit his personality and his mentality very well.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, it's the first practice, right, of spring, new offense. You've got Cade looking out there and tag like changing a route for a receiver. And we're trained to have our eyes on him because you're giving him freedom, right? And there's, not complete, like, do what you want. There's, play call, and there's a couple of things that he can be considering. But giving him answers and letting him trust what he sees, which is fun. And all the guys, like, our first walkthrough where we did that, they all are like, this is awesome. Let's go. Like, this is great. Like, put me in the best route to get open for you, man. Like, they're all so that was exciting. And so I think there's a little freedom there, which makes them feel like they have some control. And then, little gunslinger kind of mentality, like, hey, let's spread the ball around. Let's get this guy open and put him on this. And, so it's fun, and the receivers are excited. They know that, hey, they're going to put me in the best position to make plays. And so, yeah, man, I think it's an exciting scheme.
CJ, Shipley really came into his own last year. What do you appreciate most about his game?
I mean, it's really everything, honestly. I mean, he's the ultimate competitor. I mean, this kid plays with a competitive edge that you have to match it. Because if you don't match it, it's gonna be very hard for you. It's almost like I'm pretty sure you probably watched The Last Dance with Michael Jordan and how he was in practice. I'm not saying Shipley's Michael Jordan, so let's not write that. I'm saying Shipley's Michael Jordan, but just that competitive, fierce, like how he go at you. He's just a different player when he step on the field. But off the field, I mean, he's one of the nicest kids that you can be around. Very humble, but you step on the field, that kid is all about winning. And he's going to do whatever it takes to win, and he's going to push everybody around them to be better. And to me, that's a great sign of a great teammate. because he's pushing everybody else around them to be better, to be their best. And then he's holding himself accountable because when you do that, you got to make sure you're on top of your game. And he does a great job of that. So, man, I'm just very appreciative that I get an opportunity to be his coach, really be all those guys' coaches, because they do bring a great joy, and they make it very fun and very lively to be in that room. But he's the one that gets it going, just from his competitive nature.
I saw you do a lot of amazing things in your playing days. Did you ever hurdle a player like Will did? I think it was the Louisville game when you hurdled that player.
Nah, I ain't got that on tape, man. He up one on me on that right there, And but I mean, that's just, if you go back, and he actually sent me some video over the summer of him like training, jumping over some physio ball, and that just comes through repetition. And you playing the running back position, it's all about instincts, honestly, and that's just one of those plays that his training that he done in that summer, it showed in that game, jumping over that player. No, I think the time I tried to jump over a guy, I think it was against Maryland. It was on their sideline, I believe, and I think I ended up landing on my neck, and I said that would be the last time I jump over someone. So, I just stuck to what I knew best, and that was make a guy miss, not run him.
Man, pump back in your sock though.
Yeah, that's one of those. I told him that's one of those moves. Is very similar to the Georgia Tech that I had. Like, that's gonna be a play that's gonna be remembered forever. Like, that's an iconic moment for his career, and he understands that, and he's very humble about it. But yeah, he upped one. He upped me on that one.
CJ, this is your third year as a position coach,
Yeah.
third offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
What's this journey been like for you since you've been on the field?
Honestly, it's been fun. Obviously, changing coordinators and learning new offenses, learning new personalities, getting opportunity to see how stuff is ran and see how everybody does their thing. But just like Tyler said, I mean, it doesn't matter who's sitting at that table as the play caller. You have to learn it and you have to be a student of the game. But it's been great to be able to be around different guys, like starting with Coach Elliott and having Coach Streeter and now Coach Riley. So it's been good. I wouldn't say it's been frustrating, like, oh man, I wish I would have just had one guy. I mean, that's some things just out of your control, and I don't sit around and worry about that stuff. Whoever Coach Sweeney decides that he want to be at the helm of that, you trust that process, and then you put your arm around that guy and you follow his lead. He set the tempo for our offensive staff. You follow his lead and you try to go out there and make sure that he looks great and make sure that our guys are ready to go out there and play. And so my responsibility is to make sure that the running backs know what they're doing and they go out there and they execute at a high level. But it's been great learning, from each and every one of those guys that I've had so far.
I guess, what is the vibe like on the staff? I think
What's the vibe like?
because you got 42-year-old Cowers, I think is the oldest person on staff, and everybody else is pretty much the same.
Oh man, you should have come to one of our meetings, man. We be vibing in there. We loose, and there's a lot of energy. But at the same time, we know when it's time to work, it's time to work, right? But it's a lot of energy on our staff. We all get along with each other. We hang out. We know how to cut up. You don't always want to be serious all the time. So we do it. I think we got a great mixture of that amongst our offensive staff. And like you say, Kyle, he's the old man in there. He's grandpa. So we like the grandkids in there to Kyle.
I think that obviously it's labeled air raid scheme, but I think that Garrett said that they call it dirt raids.
Dirt raid,
sometimes. How
Yeah.
much as a running back coach do you appreciate that? Are you confident there's enough carries for offense?
Well, the good thing about, and I think Coach Grisham, he can attest to this. The good thing about being in this offense is that Coach Riley, he's gonna get the playmakers the ball, and I think at the end of the day, that's what it's about. I know it's with him being his background and being up under the late Coach Mike Leach and stuff like that, and getting that label the air raid. But I think when it's all said and done, you have to run the football. I mean, when it's time to win championships and control the clock and do all that, you have to be able to run the football. And I think we have a great group of guys that can do that, and it starts up front. You got a lot of experience that's coming back, so that's exciting. And then obviously you have experience in the backfield, and then you got experience in the tight end room, and now you got more experience at the receiver. So it's a collective effort from everybody. Our job is to, once those guys do their job up front and we get to the second level, now it's our job as running backs to reward everybody else that's on that field. And that's kind of how we approach it. But we're not worried about if we're not going to run the ball. Trust me, I'm not losing any sleep about that. I think I just got to do a good job of making sure that I keep those guys healthy throughout the whole season to be successful. Because I think Ross can correct me if I'm not mistaken. I think the running back from TCU had, 1,500 yards rushing last year, I believe. So I think to me that should, if that don't excite you as a running back, then I don't know what else I need to do to excite you.
Tyler, I know there's a lot of parts to it, but just from a receiver perspective, where does the improvement have to come to get this passing game back to be that explosive group that you guys have been?
Yeah, I think it starts in practice, man, with Cade and the rest of the crew, and the cohesion in practice is huge. And I think the way that we practice, you're getting a ton more reps at doing some simple stuff, like just throwing and catching more. Putting guys in. We've done a really good, ball security circuit, for instance. I feel like we've kind of talked as a staff. Garrett's brought some things. We've had some carryover when it comes to how you practice, and I really like what we've done in spring so far, and helping our guys get just a ton more reps throwing and catching, and getting confidence from consistently performing well in practice. And it doesn't always have to be full speed. I think my wideouts, you run all day, but knowing how to take care of those guys, but still get repetitions on your slants, on your goes, on your, bang aids, on your out. And we can slow it down and coach, and I think we've learned a lot from that, and I think we've already seen improvement, throwing and catching. You come watch a practice, and it's, there's 5 quarterbacks, and there's a ball being thrown to every single receiver in every play when it comes to certain teams' separate periods, which is great. And so, it comes from that. I think just having that cohesion, that chemistry, that confidence with one another on the field, and then putting them in the work. You have your developing habits on your own, right? Like even after practice, we have a catch circuit we're doing. It's every single skill player, that he brought from TCU, and we've tweaked it a little bit as well, and kind of got it the way we want it. But everybody's doing that, and so you're getting tons of reps. But man, you're developing habits, and as you develop those habits, it's going to develop that character, on field and then off field character with those habits as well. So it's on our guys, man, to put in the work, and to when no one's watching, right? What are you doing? That's character, right? And I think our guys are buying in, man, to that, and just the work ethic and the commitment and the grind to be great. And we got those guys in that room, man. We got those guys. We got some great leadership this year, and like I said earlier, the guys are really hungry. I think every position's hungry and excited, with what we're doing right now.
Going back to that competitive locker room you have with the running backs, Streko's a guy he's the preferred walk-on. He's highly thought of, but kind of not really talked as much about. What have you seen from him in camp so far, and how do you think he can contribute to the running back room as a whole?
He has kind of like that that mindset that Shipley had, like when he came here, like just really eager to learn, takes tons of notes in the meeting room. But at the same time, he's still a freshman. He's still trying to just learn his way around. But that's kind of similar what I see, like from that standpoint, is like he kind of got like that will in him a little bit, just really eager to learn the offense and try to master it as quickly as possible as he can, so he can go out and play fast. And that's kind of where he at right now in this stage, going through spring, is just really just trying to learn the terminology and really soak it all up, and so he can go out there and play free. And then when he's able to do that, his skill set is able to showcase. But he's gonna he's going to be a really good running back here for us for a long time. He right now he's just a freshman trying to just find his way, figure his way around, and figure it out. But that's what you have 2 older guys in there for to help bring those guys along. So he's going to be good. I'm glad that we was able to get him because he brings a nice different little pace for us in the room.
Do you think Domonique and Keith are pretty close in the pecking order? Is one separated from the other a little bit?
Honestly, I really don't even do a depth chart. Honestly, I'd be foolish to sit here and say, hey, one is over the other. I mean, both of them guys doing a tremendous job right now, especially with a new system that we in. They both bring something totally different to our offense. So I don't want to sit here and say, hey, one is over the other. I mean, they just every day is a resume update day, I guess you would call it. And both of them guys doing a good job of that. And that's what you want in that room, in any room, honestly, is just competition. But it'd be hard for me to sit here and say, hey, those guys or one is above the other. They both doing a tremendous job of taking advantage of the reps that they're given.
I think, Tyler, you're talking about Beaux Collins. You wish you could get out there some of those team reps. I mean, what have you seen just in individuals in terms of how he's progressing as a player?
Yeah, he's doing well. He looks strong. I mean, he's been working on. It's funny, like he's trying to he needs to add fat. Okay. Yeah, like he's walking around and he was at my meeting and he had like a bag of like candy. I'm like, what you doing, dude? That's not it's not like you. And I mean, he's so trim that we're trying to add a little fat to him to help him out, and I don't even know why. I asked the nutritionist, like I guess it'll help him somehow. Okay. He looks great. He worked on his body and with that shoulder, trying to, work around it, get it stronger, of course, but work around it. But he looks great. He's moving well. He's making plays. He's able to kind of looks like he'd probably say not full range of motion maybe right now, but it sure looks like it. I mean, he's making great plays out there. Great catch radius, and man, I'm just excited for him. This is a big year for him, really big year. And staying healthy is huge. But man, he knows what he's trying to achieve, and we need him to step up, and be the player that he wants to be, and we know he can be. And he's gonna fight, man. He's gonna work for it. He's a worker, grinder. Perfectionist. I mean, he wants to be elite. So, but he's done well.
Tyler, do you feel good enough about the personnel, particularly the outside spots, where you feel like you don't need to possibly explore the portal addition later, or is that a possibility at some point later in the spring?
No, I love who we got, man. We're gonna have 21, unless something happens, with 21 wideouts on our roster as it stands today, and it's a lot, right? And so, our guys know we've got guys coming in this summer that would like to play, that are going to compete. You see Antonio. I mean, Adam Randall was competing to start as in the spring before he got hurt. I mean, we're bringing in guys that want to play and that can, and so it's going to be competitive. But man, it's I'll say this: we've got a great room with a ton of respect for each other, and a ton of support. That's huge, right? Unselfishness, right, is going to be big because we're going to have plenty of guys that can make plays. And so I'm excited about who we have and really, lighten up the scoreboard with the guys that we do have. So.
As you mentioned, Adam, how was he handling kind of the stops and starts? Obviously, he had a great spring last year, and then torn ACL, and then played a little bit, and then he's out again.
I didn't catch the first part of that.
Randall.
Right. What about?
So how do you think he's handled the stops and starts?
The stops and starts?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's. I mean, he's gone through it, man, and he's got great parents. Wanda and Jerome are phenomenal, and so I think he's got a great foundation, faith and work ethic, and I mean, he recovered really fast from an ACL, right? And then this little deal here, I don't even know fully. You can ask the doctors on what took place there, but another surgery. But he's recovered well. They're having to say, whoa, all the time with him because he can probably do more than what's prescribed. but they want to be safe and just be smart with them. But I mean, he's one of those guys, kind of like Amari Rogers was. Like they're going to grind, and if they're at home sitting around, they're doing something to help them improve and to recover like that. And that's who he is. And so he's got a great attitude. He's got a smile on his face. I mean, he's engaged in the meetings. He's taking notes as if he's out there getting every rep. And that's who he is. And so yeah, I mean, he's handling it well, and he's hungry too. I mean, he hated how it went down last year because he wanted to be an All-American, and he could have been, but he's got his time. His time will come, and I'm excited to help him achieve his dreams.
All right.
All right.
Thank you both.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank
Who
you,
y'all
guys.
got? I know y'all got the final.